Hey guys, Mark Petralis here. I believe it is June 3rd, Monday. Listen, I wanted to talk to you something that I've been thinking about over the weekend, and that is the different stages of your business when you're starting out an online business. And I'm going to tie that into what's going on in real estate in my life here, a project I'm doing at 174 Battle Street in Hamden, a flip project. I think I could relay some very good information here. So a person goes online because they want money, and they decide that an online business is the way to go, and rightly so, to make money. So what happens? There's several. I think I haven't. Maybe there's 4 or 5 different distinctions, but I've got like 3 very basic distinctions that a person's going to come across. One is you just join your business, and you went from the inspiration and aspiration of that magical sales page to now you're in your back office, and it's where reality sets in that okay, I got to set things up. You don't just join and make a whole bunch of money. You got to set things up. For instance, maybe every business need an autoresponder. You got to set up your autoresponder, possibly and hopefully you're blogging. You're doing some sort of videos. You have capture pages. There's a bunch of tools that you need to set up and implement and tie together that after you get to know them, it's like riding a bike. It's like driving. And when you first learn to drive a car, you're like, you're driving, and God forbid somebody says, here, have a soda sign. Or now people are after a while you drive, you're on your phone and you're eating all at once. It becomes second nature. But when you start anything, your online business is number one thing that you're going to have a learning curve. And some people, I'll be honest with you, right from the get-go, bam, they go in the back office and they're like, I'm not doing this. So you got to have your why anchored very much so, and you got to understand, and you also have to have your belief that an online business is very much probably, in my eyes and in many people's eyes, the best solution in today's world to create the lifestyle that you want because of the leverage that you could gain from it. The leverage of online business and the internet in general. The fact that you could learn it at your own pace, at your own time, from your home. All you need is that magic ingredient, you. You need you, and be willing to learn it. So you better make sure that your why and your why is very concrete. So anyway, you go in your back office and you hit an obstacle. Reality sits in, and you got to work through this stuff. And sometimes, setting up learning an autoresponder for the very first time could take a few days to understand what's going on, and it's frustrating. And so it's decision time, and you got to decide to just work right through it. Hopefully your company that you've joined has a Facebook groups page or a fan page, someplace where you could get help, or your back office has good customer support. A good company will supply this stuff. You have a sponsor. A sponsor is not somebody to hold your hand, in my eyes. Certainly ask your sponsor for some help, but your sponsor doesn't make or break your success. It's got to come from you. He's one of the first people you go to have him help you direct, or if it's a simple question, have him do it. But your sponsor's job is not to, okay, Johnny, let's go in and we'll sit down for an hour on the phone and I'll walk you through how to set up your autoresponder. Now there's for each project that you have to do, whether it's a capture page, an autoresponder, a blog, or a video, within that mechanism. For instance, on our responder, they're going to have videos, they're going to have back office information on how to do it. You just got to have the time and energy and effort to put in to learn how to do it. So that's stage number 1, getting set up. So you're going along and you got everything set up, and your back office might be telling you where to place links or how to do some very basic marketing, and you're doing it. So you've gone past stage 1 and 2 thumbs up. So you're going along after a few weeks and you're doing it, and you're like, where's the money? Where's the money? I put out the links. I did what the back office said. It's decision time again. Why, the fact is, again, you got to have it. You got to know in your head that this stuff works. You best have a couple of mentors that you look to, because it's not hype. In other words, the company I belong to, we go to. What really solidified it for me is we have live events, and I just met people. And I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but I met people that are making money. And I'm thinking in the back of my head, I'll be honest with you, I've got it together every bit, if not more, than this person. He's making a lot of money. So you got to understand that it's real. You got to believe it's real. And then it's just, you got to just learn something. You got to tweak something. So you're going along, and it's decision time again, because you're not getting the results you want, although you're doing the very basics. Well, now it's time to step up your game and learn how to step up the game. Maybe you got to take a little ownership of it, tweak things a little bit, and find out how you could get better results, because you've got the mechanisms in place. Maybe you're doing Facebook and you're not getting the likes and the followers that you want. Well, there's other people that are doing have tons of followers and likes. It didn't happen overnight, but you follow and you find out what they're doing, and you just do it repetitively, like you do everything repetitively, because eventually it works. And if you keep doing something repetitively, you get better at it, you understand it better, and you start tweaking it, you make it your own. You start saying, okay, now everything isn't from you read something, you do. It's from, wait a minute, I have to do this. You learn. So you've just gone through stage 2, and then in other words, you just keep going through these stages, and that's just part of it. If you go back to, if you're working a job, when you started your job, you were green, you didn't know nothing. What do I do, Joe? What do I do, Betty Lou? And if you've been there for a couple years, you don't even have to think about what you're doing. In fact, it's boring as hell. But when you first went there, maybe it was challenging. Maybe you already have a brick and mortar business where when you did something, when you started, the whole thing was brand new. I'm going to liken this to a story in my life right now. I do real estate, I do flips. So my wife is I'm doing a house in Hamden right now, 174 Battis Road in Hamden. So I want to focus my energy on my online business. My wife would chomp at the bit to get back involved more heavily in running the show, rather than just having a say in doing this or that. She loves it. So this house, I knew from the get-go there were some things, but it turns out there's many things. I've got an attached cinder block garage that one of the walls has failed. I thought we could say, but we can't. On top of that garage is an enclosed porch. So you got this 22-foot long wall, and over half of that wall that's failed as a porch. So we got to support that. We got to support that porch, pull down this wall, put a new wall up. And because the town, I got to bring an engineer in and figure out how to do some of this stuff, or get his stamp of approval, so the town will say, yeah, that's fine, go ahead and do it that way. There's a lot of things, some load-bearing walls that are getting moved in the house. So anyway, my wife's involved, and she's been in with every conversation with every contractor, and I'm telling her all the things that she has to be on top of, rather than just having a say in things. I'm saying, instead of me saying, Beth, doing the kitchen, about this, I'm like, you run the show. You go down there every day, and you make sure things are getting done, and you ask the questions. And anyway, there's some stuff here that is well beyond an everyday rehab. And so yesterday, I talked to her. I said, there's some things in my mind that got to be addressed. We have to stay on the same page, because you're going to be the project manager, so to speak. So she comes in with a notebook later on. I'm all set. And you gotta talk to the engineer. You gotta get the engineer, and there's two engineers. One's a concrete engineer. One's a wood engineer. You gotta get their paperwork. Then you gotta bring Jose, the general contractor, and the concrete guy together, and you gotta have a game plan. You want to tie the footings with the footings for the deck, with the footing for the new wall. You got to make, all sorts of things. You got to go over how we're going to support the porch when we're ripping out the floor of the garage, all sorts of things. And she's looking at me. I could see her eyes starting to glaze over, and she's taking notes, and she's asking questions. And at the end, rightly so, she goes, I can't do this. I can't go to town. I can't coordinate this. Everything is new to me. But I want her to say to me, I need some help, and she did, and we'll work through it. But my point is, there's stages in anything. She could go in and take care of certain things of the rehab, no problem. But this stuff here, this is a new stage for her to learn, and just the whole thing. In other words, she's never done a problem. Like, this is what we gotta do: coordinate these guys. These guys just are going to do this and this and this, but if you don't do things at a certain time, it's not going to flow right. So she's learning. There's stages with everything, right? Don't you agree? There's stages with everything. So with tying it back to online marketing, you know, what I could say is it's very real. And I know it's very real because, like I say, I went to a live, what solidified it the most for me in my whole life is going to a live event where they did something on stage where they just brought up all these people that had made different dollar amounts, starting with $100,000 a month, folks, which, you know, there's only a few up there, but they went right down to $2,000 a month. And we're all up there, and the stage, you know, there's only very few new people. And I'm going to say that's largely just because of my company, the success people have, but this isn't a plug so much for my company right now. Later on, I'll get to that. But my point is, there's stages, and the people that are successful, the bottom line is, when the shit hits the fan, you're gonna get doubts. You're gonna get some. The doubts are going to creep in. You're going to say, well, maybe. No, not well, maybe. People are doing it, and the people that are doing it are saying the only thing that made them successful and the other person not successful is when shit hit the fan, they stayed at it. They stayed at it. Because if you keep doing anything repetitively, you're going to get better, you're going to understand it better, you're going to take ownership of it, and it's going to become yours, and you're going to get better at it. And it's going to succeed. Think of it. When you're a baby, you learn to walk. When you learn to chew your food, you learn to cut your meat with your fork and knife. Anything you do, you learn to tie your shoes. A woman learned to give birth. You learn to raise your kids. Anything you do, you do what you got to do. And the only difference is, because it doesn't cost a lot of money and there's nobody on your back saying do it, you got to know what your why is. That online business is that's a catch-22, and it offers so much to the world, but it's so easy in the beginning to say, you know, because you don't have a lot of money invested, you don't have anybody on your back saying you got to do this or else you're not going to make your weekly pay, and I can't keep you enslaved. You know, so that's kind of what I'm saying. There's stages at it. When you run into trouble, when you run into doubts, you got to work through it. You know, you got to work through it. It is worth working through. Whatever you're doing now in your life is your alternative, is your reality. If you want to live a different lifestyle, think about it. What else is there? What are you going to do? Get a part-time job? Are you going to take out a $100,000 loan to start a brick and mortar business? You know, or do you want to spend 8 hours a week at night, in the morning, at night, in starting an online business for $50 a month? You know, think about it, folks. So when there's stages, every stage has a decision time, and the decision is to just work through it. All right, that's about it. Hope you got some benefit out of it. Talk to you later.